Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Shower.
Hey guys, we are so happy to have you here with us today.
Before we start, if you enjoy our lessons, please subscribe to our channel.
Yes, your support really helps us keep making these videos for you.
Today, you'll learn how to talk about burnout.
This is such an important topic because everyone feels it sometimes.
Exactly, especially in our busy modern lives.
So, Liam, you're a writer, right? Do you ever feel completely drained?
Oh, definitely, especially when a deadline is approaching for my new book.
I know that feeling. I'm a total night owl, so I often push myself too hard.
Being an early bird doesn't save me from it either, Lisa.
That's true. Burnout doesn't care if you like mornings or nights.
In the UK, we might say we are at the end of our tether.
Oh, I love that. In the US, we usually say we are at the end of our rope.
It's interesting how both involve being tied to something, isn't it?
It really is. It means you have no more patience or energy left. So let's look at some common ways to describe this feeling. A very common one in America is I'm fried.
Fried, like a piece of fish from a chip shop.
Exactly. It means my brain feels like it's been cooked and can't think.
I see. In a more formal setting, I might say I am emotionally exhausted.
That sounds very professional and intellectual, Liam.
Well, it helps to be specific when talking to a doctor or a manager.
True. If I'm talking to a friend, I might say I'm running on empty.
That's a great idiom, like a car with no petrol left in the tank.
Wait, you mean gas, right?
Yes, gas for you, petrol for me.
Either way, the car isn't moving anywhere.
Exactly. Another British expression is being knackered.
I've heard that one. It's quite informal, isn't it?
Very informal. It means you are extremely tired or worn out.
How do we know if it's just stress or actual burnout?
That's a vital distinction to make for our listeners.
Stress usually feels like too much, but burnout feels like not enough.
That's a profound way to put it, Lisa.
Like you feel like you have no motivation or care left at all.
When I have writer's block and burnout, I feel completely numb.
Numb is a strong word. It means you can't feel any emotions.
Yes, it's like your internal battery is at 0%.
And charging it takes a lot more than just a good night's sleep.
Precisely. It requires a real change in pace or a long break.
We often call that unplugging in the US.
We use that too, taking a break from digital devices and work.
Okay, let's try a mini role play so our listeners can hear these in context.
Good idea. Let's pretend we are two friends meeting for coffee.
Or tea, since you're a big tea lover.
Fair point. Let's imagine we are at a quiet cafe.
I'll start. Hey, Liam, I haven't seen you in ages. How's the book going?
To be honest, Lisa, I've hit a wall with the latest chapter.
Oh no, is it just writer's block?
I think it's more than that. I'm feeling totally burned out.
I'm so sorry to hear that. You have been working nonstop.
I have. I feel like I'm running on empty every single morning.
You should really try to unplug for a weekend.
I think you're right. I'm at the end of my tether with this draft.
Why don't we just forget about work today and enjoy our drinks?
That sounds like exactly what I need. Thank you, Lisa.
How was that? Did you hear all the phrases we used?
We used hit a wall, which is common when you can't progress.
And running on empty for having no energy.
Plus my favorite British one, at the end of my tether.
It's so useful to have different ways to express these feelings.
Especially because I'm tired doesn't always capture the depth of burnout.
Right. Burnout is more of a long-term state of exhaustion.
In the workplace, people often talk about work-life balance.
That's a big buzzword in America too.
It means making sure your job doesn't take over your whole life.
If the balance is off, burnout is almost guaranteed.
I find that taking a mental health day helps quite a bit.
Is that common in the UK too?
It is becoming much more common and accepted now.
That's good. In the US, more companies are encouraging it.
Lisa, what do you do when you start feeling fried?
I usually have to stop drinking so much coffee and actually sleep.
As a tea drinker, I find a quiet walk in the park helps.
That sounds so peaceful. I should try that instead of scrolling on my phone.
Scrolling can actually make burnout worse, can't it?
Oh, definitely. It's called doom scrolling sometimes.
That's a very descriptive modern term.
It just drains your mental energy even more.
So talking about it is the first step to feeling better.
Yes, don't be afraid to tell your friends, I'm struggling.
Or, I need a bit of a breather.
A breather is such a nice way to say you need a short break.
It sounds less heavy than saying I'm having a breakdown.
True. It's all about the vocabulary you choose.
We want our listeners to feel empowered to speak up.
Exactly. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health.
Let's talk a bit more about the symptoms people might describe.
Some people say they feel cynical about their work.
Cynical is a good intermediate level word.
It means you stop believing that what you do is important.
That is a very common sign of burnout in professional roles.
Another one is feeling irritable,
Ah, yes, getting annoyed by small things very easily.
like when someone leaves a dirty spoon in the sink.
Precisely. When you're burned out, that spoon feels like a disaster.
It really does. Your fuse is short.
Short fuse, that's another great idiom for having little patience.
We have so many idioms for being stressed or tired.
It shows how universal the experience is.
You mentioned the short fuse earlier, Lisa. It's so true.
It really is. When you're at that point, even a friendly good morning can feel like a burden.
That's because our social battery is completely drained.
Social battery is such a great way to describe it.
I find that as an introvert, mine drains much faster than yours.
That's probably true. I'm energized by people, but even I have limits.
When we talk to a boss about this, we have to be careful with our words.
Right. You don't want to just say, I'm lazy or I can't do it.
Exactly. A useful professional phrase is saying you are at capacity.
Oh, at capacity. That sounds so official and non-judgmental.
It simply means your schedule is full and you can't take on any more tasks.
In the US, corporate offices love the word bandwidth.
Bandwidth, like an internet connection?
Exactly. If I say I don't have the bandwidth for that project, it means I don't have the mental space.
I see. It sounds very high-tech. In the UK, we might say we are swamped.
Swamped, like being stuck in a marsh or a bog?
Yes, it means you are sinking under the weight of your work.
I love that image. I'm swamped with emails or I'm swamped with meetings.
It's very common. Another one is being snowed under.
We use that in America too, especially in the winter, literally and figuratively.
Even if there is no real snow, it means you are buried by your responsibilities.
What about the physical side of burnout, Liam?
That's a crucial part of the conversation.
For me, I start getting these tension headaches.
Oh, I get those too, right behind the eyes, usually from staring at my laptop.
And my sleep pattern goes totally out the window.
Out the window? That means it disappears or fails completely, right?
Yes. Even though I'm a night owl, I can't even enjoy my late nights.
I find that I start grinding my teeth when I'm stressed.
Yikes, that sounds painful. Is that why you drink so much tea to relax?
Perhaps. A nice Earl Grey really does help me unwind.
Unwind is a lovely word, like a spring that has been wound too tight.
Precisely. If we don't unwind, eventually the spring will snap.
That's a scary thought, but a very accurate one for burnout.
Another physical sign is fatigue.
That's a bit more formal than just saying tired, isn't it?
Yes, it implies a deep, heavy tiredness that sleep doesn't fix.
Let's talk about how we recover. In the US, people are starting to value self-care.
That time has become very popular in the UK as well.
But sometimes I feel guilty for taking time off. Do you?
All the time. As a writer, if I'm not writing, I feel like I'm failing.
That's the productivity trap, the feeling that you always have to be busy.
My friends in London call it the hustle culture.
Oh, we call it that in New York too. The hustle never stops.
But hustling until you burn out is actually very counterproductive.
Right. Your work quality drops when you're burnt to a crisp.
Burnt to a crisp, like overcooked bacon?
Exactly. Just a dry, crunchy mess with no flavor left.
That's a vivid way to describe a tired brain.
So to avoid being a piece of burnt bacon, we need boundaries.
Boundaries is a key word for intermediate learners.
It means setting limits on what you will and won't do.
Like not checking work emails after 7 p.m.
Exactly. Or saying no to that extra project, even if you want to please people.
In England, we are often too polite to say no, which leads to more stress.
The British politeness can be a bit of a trap then.
It really can be. We call it taking on too much.
And then you end up overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed is such a perfect word for that feeling of being underwater.
Let's look at some idioms for when things are just starting to get bad.
Like burning the candle at both ends?
I love that one. Working early in the morning and late at night.
It's a guaranteed way to reach burnout very quickly.
My mom always used to say, Lisa, don't bite off more than you can chew.
That's a classic. Taking a task that is too big for you to handle.
I think I do that every week.
We all do, Lisa. We are ambitious people.
But we need to remember to recharge our batteries.
That's a universal idiom now, thanks to our smartphones.
True. We wouldn't let our phones stay at 1%, so why do we do it to ourselves?
That is a very intellectual question, Lisa.
I have my moments.
Another thing people do is take a step back.
That means looking at the situation from a distance, right?
Yes, gaining some perspective on what truly matters.
Liam, do you think there's a difference in how we take vacations?
Oh, definitely. In the UK, we call it going on holiday.
And we say going on vacation.
Most people in the UK get at least 20 to 25 days of annual leave.
25 days? I'm so jealous.
Is it different in the US?
Much different. Many people only get 10 days, and some feel afraid to use them.
That sounds like a recipe for burnout, Lisa.
It really is. We have vacation guilt in America.
That's such a shame. A holiday is essential for mental health.
I agree. Even a staycation can help.
Staycation, that's when you stay at home but don't work, right?
Yep. You act like a tourist in your own city.
I did that last month. I visited all the tea shops in my neighborhood.
Of course you did. That is so you, Liam.
It was very relaxing. I felt refreshed afterwards.
Refreshed and rejuvenated are great words for after a break.
They sound much more positive than fried and knackered.
Definitely.
Speaking of being overwhelmed, Lisa, have you heard the term quiet quitting?
Oh, definitely. It's been all over social media in the US lately.
It's quite a controversial topic in the UK as well.
For those who don't know, it's not actually about quitting your job, right?
Exactly. It's about doing exactly what your contract says and nothing more.
Right. No staying late, no checking emails on weekends, no extra projects.
Some people see it as a way to prevent burnout.
But others see it as a lack of ambition or checking out mentally.
Checking out is a great phrase for when someone is physically there, but mentally gone.
Exactly. Like when you're in a meeting and you're just staring at the wall.
We've all been there, especially during a 3-hour Zoom call. In a professional context, we might call this disengagement.
Disengagement sounds very serious, but it's a major sign of burnout.
If you feel disenchanted with your work, it's hard to give it your best.
Disenchanted is a beautiful word, Liam. Very writerly of you.
It means you've lost your spark or your passion for what you do.
When I lose my spark, I feel very lethargic.
Lethargic is a perfect intermediate word. It means having no energy or enthusiasm.
It's like moving through honey. Everything feels heavy and slow.
That's a very vivid description, Lisa.
So if someone feels this way, how do they talk to their boss about it?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I think honesty is the best policy, but you have to be constructive.
Constructive means providing a way to improve the situation, not just complaining.
Right. Instead of saying, I hate my job, you could say, I'm struggling with my current workload.
Workload is the total amount of work you are expected to do.
You could also ask, can we look at my priorities together?
That's a very professional way to say you have too much on your plate.
Exactly. And you might need to delegate some tasks.
Delegate means to give some of your work to other people.
Managers usually appreciate it when you speak up before you completely collapse.
I agree. It's much harder for a company to replace you than to help you.
Liam, do you think social media makes burnout worse?
I absolutely do. It's the comparison trap.
Oh, I see people on Instagram always working, always traveling, always hustling.
And it makes you feel like you aren't doing enough.
Exactly. Even when I'm exhausted, I feel like I should be doing something productive.
That's often called toxic productivity.
Toxic productivity? That sounds dangerous.
It is. It's the unhealthy obsession with being busy all the time.
I definitely suffer from that. I feel guilty if I just sit and watch a movie.
Even as an early bird, I have to remind myself that rest is part of the work.
That's a great quote, Liam. Did you write that?
I wish, but it's a philosophy I try to follow for my mental well-being.
Well-being is a word we hear a lot lately, especially in the US.
It covers your mental, physical, and emotional health.
If your well-being is low, your resilience is also low.
Resilience is a tough one. It's the ability to bounce back from stress.
Like a rubber band. You can stretch it, but it goes back to its original shape.
But if you stretch a rubber band too far for too long, it snaps.
And that snap is what we call burnout.
Let's talk about some phrases for getting back on track.
I like the phrase to turn a corner.
That means to pass the most difficult part of a situation and start improving.
I was really burned out, but I've turned a corner after my holiday.
Another one is to get a second wind.
Like in a race, you're tired, but suddenly you have a new burst of energy.
It's a great feeling, but we shouldn't rely on it too often.
True, you can't live your life waiting for a second wind.
You need a sustainable pace.
Sustainable means something you can keep doing for a long time without failing.
Exactly. My writing pace needs to be sustainable, or I won't finish my book.
And I need a sustainable sleep schedule, even if I love being a night owl. Another idiom is to take the pressure off. That means to lower the expectations or the stress in a situation. Sometimes we have to take the pressure off ourselves. We are often our own harshest critics, aren't we? Undoubtedly, we expect perfection every single day. But perfectionism is a fast track to burnout. Fast track means a very quick way to reach a certain result. I'm definitely on the fast track if I don't slow down.
How about we look at how to help a friend who looks burnt out?
That's so important. Sometimes we don't see it in ourselves, but others do.
If I see you looking tired and wired, I should say something.
Tired and wired? I love that.
It means you are exhausted, but your mind is racing and you can't relax.
I would say, hey Liam, you look a bit out of sorts lately.
Out of sorts is a classic British expression for not feeling quite right.
Or I could ask, is there anything I can take off your plate?
That is such a kind and practical way to offer help.
It's better than just saying, are you okay? Because people always say yes.
That's the I'm fine trap.
Everyone says I'm fine, even when they are at their breaking point.
Breaking point is exactly what it sounds like. The moment you can't take any more.
If a friend reaches that point, they might need professional help.
Yes, and there is no stigma in asking for help.
Stigma is a great word. It means a feeling of shame or disapproval from society.
We are working hard to remove the stigma around mental health in the UK.
Same here in the US. It's okay to not be okay.
That's a very popular and powerful phrase.
It really is. It gives people permission to rest.
Lisa, do you ever feel burnt out from social interactions?
Actually, yes. Even though I'm an extrovert, I get peopled out.
Peopled out? Is that a real American term?
Maybe not official, but we use it. It means you've spent too much time with people.
I feel that way after every book signing event.
I bet. You probably just want to go home, have a tea, and be silent.
Exactly. I need to decompress.
Decompress is another scientific sounding word for relaxing.
Like a diver coming up from the deep ocean, you have to let the pressure out slowly.
If you come up too fast, you get the bends.
And if you stop burnout too late, it takes a long time to recover.
It's all about prevention.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Wow, Liam, you're full of wise idioms today.
It's an old saying, but it's very relevant to burnout.
It means it's easier to stop something from happening than to fix it later.
Precisely.
Let's talk about the word frazzled.
Frazzled? That's a fun word to say.
It is. It describes that feeling when your nerves are worn thin.
Like a piece of fabric that is starting to rip at the edges.
Exactly. I'm feeling a bit frazzled after that long commute.
Commuting is a huge source of stress for many people.
In London, the tube can be very claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic means feeling uncomfortable in a small, crowded space.
And when the trains are delayed, everyone gets irritable.
We talked about that earlier, the short fuse.
It all connects back to our energy levels.
If you're already running on empty, a train delay feels like the end of the world.
That is why buffer time is so important.
Buffer time, like extra time between meetings?
Yes, to give your brain a chance to reset.
I usually use my buffer time to get another coffee.
Maybe try a breather instead next time, Lisa.
I'll try, but no promises.
We've covered so many useful words today.
We really have, from fried to lethargic to resilience.
I hope our listeners are taking notes.
Don't worry, guys, we'll do a recap soon.
But before that, let's think about one more thing.
What's that, Liam?
The difference between hard work and overwork.
Ooh, that's a deep one.
Hard work can be fulfilling,
Fulfilling means it makes you feel happy and satisfied.
but overwork is draining.
It takes away your energy without giving anything back.
If you feel drained every day, you are overworking.
Even if you love your job, you can still overwork yourself.
Passion doesn't make you immune to burnout.
Immune means protected from something, like a disease.
Exactly. Even the most passionate artists and writers get burned out.
So take care of yourselves, everyone.
Your work is important, but you are more important.
Before we move on to our recap, Lisa, let's talk about one more thing, to blow off steam.
Oh, I love that one. It's like a steam engine needing to release pressure so it doesn't explode.
Exactly. What's your favorite way to blow off steam?
For me, it's a high-energy dance class or just singing loudly in my car.
I can imagine that. I prefer something a bit quieter, like gardening or reading.
Both are great for reforming your mental state.
Actually, a better word might be reframing.
Reframing? Like putting a new frame on a picture?
Precisely. It means changing the way you look at a situation.
So instead of thinking, I have too much to do, I think, I am choosing what is important.
That is a very powerful perspective shift.
I think that shift is the first step in burnout recovery.
Recovery isn't a straight line, though. Some days are harder than others.
That's true. You have to be patient with yourself.
Patience is a virtue, as the old saying goes.
Especially when you are trying to rebuild your energy.
It's like a marathon, not a sprint.
We say that all the time in the US. You have to pace yourself.
If you go too fast at the beginning, you won't finish.
Okay, I think we've given our listeners a lot of food for thought.
Food for thought, another great idiom. Something to think about seriously.
Shall we look back at some of the most useful expressions from today?
Let's do a comprehensive review and recap.
Great idea. Let's start with how we describe the feeling of being tired.
I mentioned at the end of my tether, and you said at the end of my rope.
And I love I'm fried, which means my brain is exhausted.
Don't forget the informal British knackered.
Or the classic running on empty, like a car without gas or petrol.
Then we talked about work-specific terms like being swamped or snowed under.
And those corporate words like at capacity and bandwidth.
We also discussed the physical side, like tension headaches and fatigue.
And grinding your teeth, which sounds so painful, Liam.
It is. That's why I need to unwind with my tea.
We also touched on some modern concepts like toxic productivity and quiet quitting.
And that very important word for setting limits, boundaries.
If we don't have boundaries, we become overwhelmed and frazzled.
We also talked about helping friends, using phrases like out of sorts or tired and wired.
And my favorite, peopled out, for when I've had too much social time.
Finally, we talked about recovery, turning a corner, getting a second wind, and decompressing.
That is a lot of vocabulary. You guys are going to be experts at talking about burnout.
But remember, the most important thing is to use these words to express how you really feel.
Exactly. Don't just learn them. Use them to take care of yourself.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of English Shower.
We hope you found this discussion helpful and relatable.
Burnout is a tough topic, but talking about it makes it a little easier to handle.
If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button.
And we would love to hear from you in the comments.
Tell us, how do you blow off steam when you feel stressed?
Or let us know which idiom was your favorite today.
We read all your comments and they mean so much to us.
Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Take a deep breath and have a wonderful day.
Stay healthy and take care of your mind. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.